Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast /YouTube/We Do It All. As always, I'm your host, John. Very happy to be here. My boy Jay, his over there in the six. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing great, man. Ready to talk about one of the most exciting teams, young teams in the league, in my opinion. And we got a great guest to talk about it all with. So let's get it.
Oh, yeah, man. You know, for an exciting and young team like the Hornets, man, we had to bring an exciting guest like Sam Smith. Sam, we are very happy to have you on, man. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself to the fans, say a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So Sam Dracula is like the brand. If you search that on YouTube or on the podcast realm, you'll find my stuff. But yeah, I do Hornets content on YouTube. And then I do a weekly podcast called Believe in Hornets. And that's every single week on Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. And then the YouTube stuff is purely Hornets related. I do Hornets videos and live streams when games are going on. Very excited for that to be back in the mix once again. And I guess like just general background on me, I live in Charlotte. I'm a transplant. I've been here for like 5 years. I've never had a team of my own. So when I moved here, like I kind of adopted the Hornets and decided to be, to like really document my journey as a Hornets fan. That's where the YouTube channel came about. And then through doing the YouTube channel, the podcast came about. And we're going into like season 3 of this. And I'm very excited about it. So yeah, youtube.com/Sam. I don't know if it's time to do plugs or not, but Sam Dracula, if you search it, you'll find my stuff.
Yeah.
If you're curious about Hornets stuff, that's all I really talk about there. But yeah.
For all the fans, man, we're gonna leave all of Sam's work, all from his podcast, from his YouTube channel, in the link in the description down below, man. I'll leave the link, so make sure you guys go check out all of Sam's work, man, because he's got some fire content, man. So
thank you, I appreciate it.
No problem, man. So as long as all that's out the way, y'all ready to get into this Hornets talk?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. So the first question that we like to ask all the fans here for these fan interviews is, Sam, as a Hornets fan, are you content with the way this year went?
So like the regular season, and not the offseason, just on the court.
Yeah, on the court.
Yes. Even though it ended poorly or just like disappointingly, overall the team was better than they were the year before, and that's all you could really ask for, just that upward positive trajectory. And we saw a glimpse of what this team could be when they're flirting with that 4th seed when everyone was healthy. And then they lost Malik, Hayward, and LaMelo, and those was a wrap, basically. And they just slid on down the Eastern Conference standings to the 10th seed, and then got embarrassed by the Pacers in that play-in game. And the positive thing about that, like, not to jump ahead, but like the team seems very angry about that and determined to make sure that doesn't happen again, which that puts another kind of like tick mark in the positive column that they went through that experience, and then hopefully they'll do what it takes to make sure it doesn't happen again. But overall, yeah, pretty happy with it because they got better as a unit. Even like Miles Bridges, PJ Washington took leaps, and LaMelo's first year was a lot of fun as well. Hayward, arrival, Terry Rozier got better. So yeah, it was good. It was good. I wish it ended differently, but I'm happy overall.
Yeah, just like how you said, the Hornets really took something from that Pacers game, and now they know where they want to go moving forward. Today's September 26th, man. I mean, September 27th. And honestly, I still remember that Pacers and Hornets game. I still remember how the Hornets just got punched in the mouth, man. Like they came out there and got punched in the mouth. And really, like how you said, Sam, like it was the Hornets took that to heart, and you can tell that they really started to make changes. You can tell by their free agents pickups. They signed 3 vets with playoff experience to be able to help the Hornets. And we'll get into that. But I had a quick question for you, Sam. So while we're on the lines of that Pacers game, we know Gordon Hayward didn't play in that game. We know he's a solidified vet himself. Do you think that if he would have played, that would have changed anything? That would have changed anything for you guys? Would you guys have won that game, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, 100%. Like he's been to a conference finals. Like Gordon Hayward, just from like a basketball point of view, just is insanely valuable. And then you add on his experience playing with 2 different franchises and being in like playoff type situations before. Really, no one on the team has been through that other than Terry, Zeller, and Biz. It's a very young team. And afterwards, you heard Terry talk about it. He was like, we need to get more veterans here, or at least improve the mix between the veterans and the young players. And like you mentioned, they addressed that in the offseason. But yeah, Hayward gets a lot of, stick for his injury history. I think he's just been really unlucky. Like he stepped on Miles Turner's foot. Like that could happen to anybody. And he was out for like 3 months. And ironically, the Pacers eliminated the the Hornets. It comes full circle. So it's weird how that stuff works out. But when he's on the floor, he can do everything. Play make. He can create his own shot. He can get other people involved. He can defend his position. He's an invaluable piece to the puzzle. So with Hayward there, that game goes very differently. And honestly, the Pacers game was brutal. I didn't feel confident in the team's chances of winning the next playing game and then like being in that 8th seed spot. With Hayward, I think they would have advanced through, but without him, I don't know, like even if they beat the Pacers on the day, I'm not sure they would have advanced beyond that just because of the depth issues they were dealing with at the time.
Yeah, true. So Sam, you mentioned obviously, Hayward was an integral part of the team, being that veteran presence, and they obviously brought him in on a big contract.
Yep.
And then Melo as well. He was out for a majority of the end of the season and then came back, towards the end and then into playoffs. So my question to you is, if you have Gordon and LaMelo healthy, do they get in the regular season? Are they a higher seed, or how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I think 6 seed at worst. I think they avoid the play-in with everyone being healthy, Malik Monk included, because that was another one. It was like, oh man, we're just losing everybody. The team didn't have a lot of depth to go with or to begin with, and then not having Malik as an option off the bench was really brutal. But yeah, that was a huge hit to the starting 5. And then really when LaMelo came back, it was like 10 games. He wasn't himself. He wasn't the same guy. He was still doing this with his wrist at all times. He's getting treatment at all times. And his percentages from the floor really took a hit. And it was clear he was just toughing it out, which to his credit, like I as a fan, I appreciate, that level of character, but he wasn't the same LaMelo we saw pre-injury. So yeah, like it really, really put a damper on things. I don't want to overstate it because the Knicks finished in the 4th seed. It was like Hawks 5. I don't remember who finished 6th, but I think the Hornets would have been in that world. And then again, kind of going back, like if you replay it, I'm not sure that Hornets team would have fared too well against that Hawks team the way they were playing either. So it might have been, if they even made the playoffs, they got matched up with the Hawks, I think it would have been like the Hawks would still have done the thing they did in the run they had, because that team was incredible in the way they came together. But yeah, it was really just like disheartening. But it's on the positive side, this Hornets team didn't have an opportunity to fail properly, right? Like there's always that what if aspect of it, which adds a little cushion to everything. It makes it like more like easier to kind of digest. Like no one didn't show up. No one like underperformed. Just guys weren't available because of injury.
Yeah, man, definitely. And earlier we were talking about how they were the Hornets were able to learn something from that mistake. A very famous quote I see all over the world is like, every loss comes with a lesson. And the Hornets took that lesson and they went in the offseason. That's where we'll transition to next. And they signed Kelly Oubre Jr. They signed Mason Plumlee. They signed Ish Smith, 3 veteran guards. So to you, who are you most excited for joining onto this Hornets team?
Oh, Kelly Oubre, easily. Like I'm really gassed about Mason Plumlee for a lot of reasons, because like especially that draft day trade, because they moved up 30 spots in the second round or not 30, like 20 spots in the second round to get JT Thor. But Ish Smith is a local guy. He's from this area, and he's gonna bring a ton, like from a leadership point of view. And LaMelo, I think, can learn from Ish as well. But man, when Hayward wasn't available, either just from rest or injury, the Hornets, there was a really big drop off there. And I like these guys. I like Jalen McDaniels. I like the Martin twins. But that's a steep drop off when Hayward's not there. And Hayward, even if he remains perfectly healthy, he still can't play every minute, right? So bringing in Kelly Oubre for a bargain, I think, because if the offseason went a different way, he could have made a lot more money. So I think it's really fortunate that he's here and the Hornets were able to pull it off cap-wise. He can play that 3 position. He can play the 2, and he can defend both. And I think you could dabble with the 4 as well, if need be. That versatility and skill level didn't exist last year. Like, so if and when Hayward's not available, Caleb Martin's with the Heat now. Cody Martin won't be playing in Hayward's place. Jalen McDaniels won't be playing in Hayward's place, which is more fair to them as well. They're not thrust in that position. And it really fortifies like them going down like a slot or 2 in the rotation, makes that part of the rotation deeper, because those guys can do it. They can show flashes, but for an extended period, you don't want to see it for like 10 games in a row. Kelly Oubre, completely different story. Like he's a guy I think fans can like really get back and get behind. And he seems pretty bought in to what the Hornets are doing here, which is what you want to see from a new guy entering like the ecosystem. But I'm really excited about Kelly Oubre because we saw the perimeter defense really take a hit over the course of the year. Like I'll never forget. Like it was against one of the Grizzlies games, and Kyle Anderson hit back-to-back threes from the exact same spot on the floor. Kyle Anderson isn't fast. He's very good, but you think he'd be able to stop him from getting to the same point on the floor and knocking down back-to-back threes, and the Hornets couldn't do anything about it. Kelly Oubre won't let that happen, and I'm excited about that. Guys can't get hot from distance against us, hopefully, knock on wood, and everything works out well. So I love Kelly Oubre and the options, the choices, the crunch time options this team has that didn't exist previously.
Yeah, man. Kelly Oubre definitely brings a lot to you guys, man. But you know what, Sam? Like today's your lucky day, man, because we got a Kelly Oubre insider, man. Because Jay Hill, he is a avid Warriors fan. He watches all these Warriors games, so he has a feeling about Kelly Oubre. Jay Hill, talk to us. How do you feel about Oubre?
Man, Tsunami P, man. I'm not gonna finish the rest of that, but the self-proclaimed Tsunami P, man. He obviously has his what he does very well, and like you mentioned, Sam, he's a great perimeter defender. Offensively, it depends what the position he's in. You know, I feel like that the role originally that the Warriors had him in as, you know, the starting three, that wasn't the best role with him, especially in a complex like motion offense they're running. But like you mentioned, coming to the Hornets, I think it's the perfect fit for him, playing alongside Melo. And if he's playing at the four, as you mentioned, he can step in at the four, he can step in at the three, and he's a gritty defender. And also he loves to run. His game is getting rebounds. His shooting definitely, obviously at the beginning of the season was terrible, but it improved as the season progressed. And I think you're getting a very, 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 very good fit for the Hornets, especially that young team, a gritty team, a hungry team. And he's right with that upward trajectory that you mentioned. So I think it's going to be a great fit. I'm honestly excited to see him play with a guy like LaMelo, who's going to get him involved in the offense. But I don't think in terms of what he has to offer as a player, it was the right fit for the Warriors. But, you know, for Kelly, I just hope he's able to find a home. And I think Charlotte might be his place because he's bounced around the league. And I think now this might be the right fit that he's been waiting for with James Borrego and the Hornets. So let's see.
Today was media day for the Hornets, and there was a quote from Oubre talking about he hasn't been excited to play basketball in like 5 years. It's like, you know, whether he means it or not, that's what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. And you're just kind of seeing it with the guys traveling to Vegas when they don't need to work out, going to Miami as a complete team and working out under Terry Rozier's leadership, you know, staying in Charlotte or being in Charlotte for workopworkouts. The gym is busy. They're going to the coach's house for like high school type dinners. It's like, all the right things are happening this offseason. And hopefully it all pays off when the season starts.
Making music videos.
Terry
Miles Bridges, man. Any thoughts? What's your thoughts on that? Like, you got any, like, I mean, with the track, like, what are you feeling about that? So I'm 32. All right. So this may be a little boomer coming out here. The rapping not on beat is really tough.
It was terrible.
It's really tough. I can't listen to Blueface. Like it gets underneath my skin. I understand like there's a market for it, and that's like a style. It is what it is. It's just I respect and encourage Miles to keep doing it, but it's just not for me. This is not for me.
It's really not, man. It's not for me either, dog. It's really not, man. But let's continue and talk about, you know, free agency. You know, you guys had definitely 3 great additions, but in my opinion, you lost a lot more than you brought in. And for the current moment, it doesn't really help your roster right now. But I want to see how you feel. Who will you miss out on most? You know, you guys lost Devontae Graham, Malik Monk, Cody Zeller, Bismack Biyombo, and Caleb Martin. So who to you are you gonna be like, man, we're definitely gonna fill the void of him this year?
I think it's Monk. I love Devontae. He's just the epitome of what the post Kemba era, like a guy who stepped up, underappreciated, overlooked, comes in, overachieves, you know, gets into that most improved player conversation, becomes like a really good 3-point shooter and playmaker just out of nowhere. It's like as a fan's hard, that's a hard thing to like see leave. But for what they got for him, I'm pretty okay with it. They got a protected 2023 pick, I think, from the Pelicans, the first round pick from the Pelicans. That I think will become like 2 second-round picks later if certain things happen. But it wasn't easy seeing Devontae go. But with LaMelo here, he doesn't, that's a roadblock there. And I think Devontae is an NBA starter. And he won't start here. So for him, I'm happy that he got paid and he's in New Orleans where he can play. Malik, though, he carved a niche out for himself as that like dynamic scorer off the bench. And then only recently, only this last season, he became a knockdown shooter from three, which is a bummer because like now it's like losing a 40% guy who isn't afraid to take a shot. He's scared of nothing and can go up and attack the rim. Like his offensive and dynamic ability will be really, really hard to replace. And when we got Terry at the 2. Malik has that kind of as a space on the team. But when you have Bouknight there at 11, which I don't think the Hornets thought they'd draft him. When I saw that, I was like, okay, that everything kind of makes sense because they didn't offer Malik a tender. Like he just walked as an unrestricted free agent. So that was hard to swallow. But I think it's Malik Monk because there's so many times where it's just the Hornets need a bailout. Things go stagnant and Malik Monk comes in cold and gets hot just in a moment's notice. And I'm going to miss him. Every time the Hornets played the Miami Heat, he went off. I think him and Bam have a thing from college. They like the little competitiveness thing going on, and he likes to punish Bam. And I'm gonna miss that. So any Lakers fans watching this, when you guys play the Heat, watch out, watch out for Malik, man. He's gonna go off against the Heat. But man. Zeller and Biz, longtime servants of the team. Like Zeller, for like one of like 3 guys in his draft class to be still playing on this team that drafted him up until this summer. So like I think he's going to do well as a backup in Portland. I don't know where Biz lands, but that position needed a lot of love and improvement. I think Mason Plumlee is an upgrade over both of them from a rebounding perspective and a playmaking point of view. Because LaMelo needs guys with good hands, and I love Biz, I love Zeller, but they don't have the handle. They don't have the hands to catch those bullet passes, those no-look passes from LaMelo. Mason Plumlee does, and so that would be a really good improvement to how things operate, especially like when Hornets run a lot of like high screen handoffs, and too many times where like the Biz or Zeller would get the ball at the top of the key, the defense was like, all right, cool, that's all you, bro. We're gonna double team whoever we want because you're not doing anything with it. Mason Plumlee, he's not gonna shoot it, but he can put the ball on the floor for a little bit, but definitely find another person, another open player, because he has a way better like court vision and passing ability than the other fellas. But yeah, I'm gonna miss Malik. I named my dog. I named my dog after Malik Monk, man. Like I said it on stream. Like the Hornets were down against the Heat, and I was like on stream, like if Malik was going off, like if Malik carries us to a dub, man, I'm gonna go to PetSmart and add Monk to my dog's tag. And I think Malik hit a buzzer beater to send the game to overtime, and the Hornets won. And next day I went to PetSmart and added Monk to my dog's tag. It's still there. I'm not changing it out of respect for Malik.
Hey, that's a respect. That's a respect.
Yeah. I think it's a 1-year deal with LA, so he may come back. I don't know. So I don't want to change it yet.
Okay. All right. So we know we're just going through the additions and the losses that you guys had. So to you, Sam, how do you think the roster looks now? Do you think that you guys are an improved roster from last year, or you're not?
Yeah, I think the roster took a big step forward. From the a talent pool point of view, with 2 first-round picks this year. Last year, the Hornets relied on a lot of guys who were undrafted or second-round picks or late lottery picks. Like the pedigree has been improved as a whole, and then you add in Kelly, Mason Plumlee, and Ish Smith, who have that veteran edge. Plus, Miles Bridges in year 4, PJ in year 3, LaMelo in year 2. That young core is they're going to get better individually and as a collective, right? I think Hayward, we know what to expect. The only question mark is he has to stay healthy, right? Terry Rozier is continuing to get better. The team is really backing him. They just gave him a new extension. So he doesn't have to worry about being in the last year of his deal. Same with the coach. They give the coach an extension. So the players know what kind of continuity, they'll have continuity here in Charlotte for the long term. And then all they really have to do is worry about playing basketball, which is nice to see. But yeah, I like the idea of like this young core growing together, and then the pieces they added, because it pushes guys like Jalen McDaniels, Cody Martin, even Vernon Carey, Nick Richards, guys, younger players on the team, lower in the rotation where they're not put in positions where they can't succeed or won't succeed. Like when they're on the floor, it's going to be because coaching staff thinks, all right, this is a good matchup. They won't get exposed. They can continue to develop while being protected. Like I like that. It's more like a more balance in it versus like desperation. Like, oh snap, we don't have a three. Cody Martin, get out there and defend Giannis. Like it's a weird. They don't have to go into that situation. A little more control, assuming of course everyone stays healthy. Then it's kind of up in the window. But I like where things are. And hopefully the rookies can. If the rookies this year can like involve themselves in any capacity, it'll be like a next level. Because I look at Book Knight and Kai Jones as like the 9th and 10th man in the rotation. Like I'm not like expecting anything from them this year. So anything's a positive, especially with Kai Jones. I think he's so raw. Book Knight, I think, can offer something, but I don't want to like put too much pressure on the rookies.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really love the additions that you got, like you mentioned, Sam. Obviously, Ish Smith, I think, is going to be a great, backup, especially a mentor to LaMelo, as he continues to develop as a player. But that leads us perfectly into our next segment, which is the Clutch Talk Timeout, where I just ask you, basically, we ask our guests who for the Hornets in this case. Well, it's kind of a two-part question, but first question is who for the Hornets is the go-to clutch player? Like you're down, you need a bucket, like you mentioned with Malik. You need a bucket, or you just need, whatever you need in that certain situation. Who's your go-to player on the Hornets roster?
Oh, it's Terry Rozier, easily. Man, he's the man. Terry time is a very real thing, and we saw it on full display throughout the season. Whether it's like getting to the rim or creating a shot off the dribble or in the catch and shoot, Terry can do everything, and he wants to do it. That's another key point. Like I think if he doesn't get that last shot, he'll feel some type of way about it because I think he thinks he can make every shot he takes, which I'm here for. I love that. I love that attitude from him. But yeah, it's Terry Rozier easily. Okay.
No,
there are guys on the team who could do it, but Terry's number one option for me at least.
No, I have to agree. As a Warrior fan, I saw Terry do that to us live. So right over JTA with the face in his hand. So I still remember him fading in the corner like it was yesterday. I mean, that loss hurt. So, but yeah, no, Terry's definitely a great option. I have to agree with that. And then Sam, my next question is to you. What are you opening night? Obviously coming up in the next month here. Who do you see Borrego putting out, or say you're Borrego, who are you putting out opening night? Who's your starting lineup? And then kind of talk about your rotation as well.
I back the guys who were on the team last year if I'm from running things, because we saw PJ play the 5, which you can do. It's really matchup based. Like we're playing Philly and Embiid, like that's gonna be tough. That's Mason Plumlee. Like Mason, that's your guy, But on a regular basis, I'm running PJ Miles into the front court, Hayward, Terry and LaMelo. Mason Plumlee, I think, could start for this team, and I think he will start in given situations. But I think that's the crunch time 5. Like that's the get a bucket lineup, and I think that could be the get a stop lineup too. So if I'm doing that, I don't mind starting them either. But the thing is, like they do have options as well with like if they want to have PJ come off the bench and have Mason start, or run like a small lineup, because this team can go do a weird all 6-7 lineup if they want, because this team is like, because of LaMelo's height and the undersized front court they have, they can do like a weird like positionless thing where everyone's the same height if they want to do it. But yeah, that's my 5 to start the season with. To start on average, LaMelo, Terry, Hayward, Miles, and PJ.
Okay.
Okay. So I got a question. This is more just like I need to know this because one thing that we say over here on Clutch Talk a lot. Like I'm not even gonna finish the sentence. My brother, what's the best type of ability?
Availability,
man. That's one thing we always say over here at Clutch Talk, man. And this is something that we were debating when we were talking about LaMelo winning Rookie of the Year. And I just want to ask a Hornets fan. I know you're on LaMelo's team, but if you could just put the bias aside, do you think that LaMelo deserved that Rookie of the Year, even though over Edwards, who played all 72 games, and Melo, he only played 51 games, although Melo did have more of an impact on his team? But how do you feel about that? Do you feel like, no, I know Melo deserved it. Doesn't matter if he played less games.
I don't think Anthony Edwards played in a single meaningful basketball game last year. And I think that should count against him. You know, even though he played in all of them, did it even matter? That team was not good, you know?
That's true.
And there's no slight on him. It's not his fault. But when you look at what LaMelo is doing in the situations he was doing him in, that has to add more value. And that's where I come from. Obviously, I'm a Hornets fan. I'd love to see him win the award. I'm glad he won the award. But I don't look at what the Timberwolves did last year as like, oh, man, well, yeah, what do these points, what these stats even really mean? You know, the team isn't good.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay, I like that. All right, so I want to ask you another question. I know along the roster. These players right now, you know, you like we've said multiple times throughout the pod, you have a young team, the teams for the future. So as of right now, they're not like untouchables, like a Giannis untouchable. Like he's just so good right now, I will never let him go. But I want to know about I have some players here listed. I want to know if you tell me if they're untouchable to you due to their potential, due to what they can grow to. So first player being LaMelo.
Yeah, he's untouchable. Yeah.
Okay.
This fan base would lose his mind if they let LaMelo go.
Okay. Miles Turner. Miles Bridges.
Yes. He's untouchable as well.
Okay.
I'd say.
Okay. Terry Rozier.
No.
No. Okay.
Also, I just gotta say this. I don't want anybody to leave. I just gotta throw that out there, a caveat.
Yeah, of course.
Game's the game, you know. I'm here to participate in the game.
Yeah, of course. No, nobody's gonna leave. This is all hypothetical.
I don't want anyone. I'm not trying to ship anybody at a time. So
no, we're not shipping nobody.
I think if the right offer came in for Terry, I could see him, or the Hornets letting him go. But like with Miles, Miles is too key and just indicative of what they've been doing here, and just as far as drafting well, and I'm just waiting for that tweet where we hear from Woj that he got extended. I'm really concerned about Miles' future because like he's gonna be going to restricted free agency this offseason. Him and LaMelo are like this, and like I hate to break that up.
Yeah, man.
And he's gotten so much better, Bridges, man, so much better. I'd hate to see him go. But we can continue. No,
you can keep going, man. Like Bridges and another player that also is able to be more successful because of LaMelo's setting up is PJ Washington. So how do you feel about PJ Washington?
I'd listen. Like if I'm Mitch Kupchak, I'd listen to offers. I'd entertain offers for PJ. I think his upside is really high, but I don't view him as untouchable. Although I don't see it for him. Okay. Although I like him again. I can't. I'm trying. All right, the game's a game. Sorry, I'm trying to. I don't want to add any more caveats.
You are good, man.
He's not untouchable. I love you, PJ, but he's not untouchable.
Okay, you are good. All right. So Sam, as we start to wrap up here, two questions that we like to ask the fans is the first one being, barring health, let's hope that we have a healthy season. We never have a COVID season like that again. Where do you see the Hornets finishing?
I'll put them at a 6 seed. I think they can avoid the play-in.
Okay. Yeah, that's right where I have them. Definitely, I would have them maybe in the play-in game, but I think they can win that game and get into the playoffs eventually. But the next question we like to ask our fans as well, our interviewers, is if you had one word to describe this past season, or one word or phrase, and then one word or phrase that you have going into this upcoming season, what would it be?
So for last year, rip.
Okay.
I've said that a ton during my live streams. I couldn't, whenever they're clanking threes and just couldn't get anything going offensively, I was just every time I was like, oh, rip. Just watching the ball go like bounce off the rim. And then especially considering how the season ended. So that's a big fat rip on last year. This year, man, I really don't want to say it, but hope. Like there's a lot of hope around the team, and like promise, and that I don't want to think about what would happen if this team regresses collectively. If they somehow don't make the play-in or finish at like 11th or worse. That'd be disastrous considering because there's not a lot of flexibility the team has. Like this is the team cap wise until unless you can fast forward through time. Like they were kind of locked in with the Terry and Hayward contracts, and then the decision on Bridges and the other guys. Like it's a little ropey there. But I think I'd say hope.
Okay, I like your two words. You got rip and hope, man. Those are two good.
You got it.
All right. So Sam, we like to do this closing segment here on Clutch Talk called Guess the Player. This is how Guess the Player works. I have 3 players here listed. Both you and Jay Hill have 2 guesses. I'm going to list off accolades, things that they did, things that they were known for. And just want to let you know, it's not just Hornets, all of NBA. So, so you got it?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
All right, let's do this, man. Let's do this. All right. So our first player, this guy was a 3-time champion, a 2-time finals MVP, a 3-time finals MVP, a 3-time NBA MVP, a 12-time All-Star, a 1-time All-Star game MVP, a 3-time 3-point contest winner,
Larry Bird?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. All right, here we go. Next player. This guy is Sam. I'm expecting a lot from you from this one on you. All right. This guy is a 1-time defensive player of the year. This guy is a 14-time All-Star.
Alonzo Mourning?
No.
Oh.
A 3-time All-Star game MVP. A 1-time Rookie of the Year.
Is this MJ?
This is MJ.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, man, I said Alonzo Mourning. Oh, rip.
Oh, rip. All right, man, here we go. Last player. All right, this guy is still in the NBA today. He's played for 6 teams. He's a 10-time All-Star. He is a 1-time scoring champion, a 2-time male athlete of the year, a 1-time NCAA champion.
Kemba.
No. Okay. He's a 1-time NCAA most outstanding player of the year.
Oh, Melo. Carmelo.
Yes, sir.
Carmelo. I got to differentiate.
Yeah,
I was like, so I'm here thinking like, who went to college? Like, I was like, no, yeah, Carmelo.
Melo, dang. Okay. Yeah.
I had to put Melo in that one, man. Well, all right, man. This is a good place. This is a good place for us to go ahead and just start to wrap it up, man. Sam, we want to thank you very much for making time and coming on here, talk to us. You're extremely knowledgeable, not just Hornets fan, but NBA fan, man. So you got any last words to say before we check off here?
Oh, no, man. You guys keep up the good work. Like, I think we were talking about this before we started recording. I really appreciate other people who, take the time out to create, and make stuff, things that they're passionate about. And if you're passionate about it, it makes it more fun to do, and people can see that and latch onto it, and they'll support you. So keep up the good work, guys. It's really fun and satisfying to turn ideas into reality. I know we're this video and podcast, you can't hold it and touch it, but it exists. This is your thing, and it exists. So keep it up.
Man, we really appreciate that. Jay, you got any last words for Sam and all the Hornets fans?
Sam, we really appreciate you coming on the show, and yeah, no, I'm excited to see what the Hornets can do with that young roster, up and coming roster, and another year of LaMelo.
Yeah,
Tsunami P back, Tsunami P in the building. So let's see what they can do, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, let's see. Definitely one of the most exciting teams to watch. So as always, you guys don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you guys want to check out Sam and all his work, again, all his work, all the links will be in the description down below. Make sure you guys go check that out. Go show him some love, man. And Sam, you want to your Twitter, you want to blast it out here for all the Apple Podcast listeners?
Yeah, Sam Dracula on Twitter, Samuel Dracula on Instagram. Someone took Sam Dracula from me. Feels bad, but it's what it is. But yeah, and then you can find all my stuff. SamDracula.com has everything. If you want to go there, and then you'll find links to all my stuff. If you want to contact me, they got the Discord links, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, sir, man. So we out of here, y'all. Clutch Talk out.